Okay, this is it, last video. Now, like I said in the last video, the information that I'm going to give you now is completely different. Okay, it's completely different, but we're going to be able to practice every single form that we've talked about. So if you watched the last video on standard form, you can see, or you saw that we went through a process where we got the slope, then point slope form, then slope intercept form, and finally standard form. We're going to do the same thing, except now, instead of giving you points or slopes, I'm going to give you a graph. And you're going to have to figure that out, all the rest of it on your own. So here, I'm giving you a graph. And now this graph, as you can see, has a negative slope. It's a line. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the exact same process as we did before. Okay, so the process was, the first thing we need to do is figure out the slope. Then after that, we're going to write the equation in point slope form. Then we're going to write the equation in slope intercept form. And finally, we're going to write the equation in standard form. And one leads into the other. So here, we have these 2 points. If I were to draw a slope triangle, so draw our triangle, we had to go down till we line up with the other point. We had to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, so that'd be -4. We went down 4 spaces, and then we moved to the right 3 spaces. We moved to the right 3 spaces. So our slope from the graph is -4/3. Our change in y was -4 because we went down. Our change in x was +3 because we went to the right. Okay. Now the next step is to pick a point. You can pick either one of these points. And I'm going to pick this one, which is 1, 2, -3, 2. And that's going to be our x1, y1. So now we need to write the equation of the line in point slope form. So we're going to go y minus 2, because y minus y1, equals m, which is -4/3, times x. Now instead of a minus -3, we're going to write +3. Now if you're asking yourself, where did he come up with this point slope form? Go back and watch the point slope form video. Okay, these work in succession. So the first one is very, very important because it lays the groundwork for everything. Then the second, then the third, and now this one. Okay, so now we've got this in point slope form. Check. Now we need to write it in slope intercept form. We need to write it in slope intercept form. And the way that we do that is we take this, we're going to distribute that -4/3. So we get y minus 2 equals -4/3 x. -4/3 times +3 is going to give you a -4. Okay. We're not done yet because we still have to solve for y. So we add 2 to both sides. We get y equals -4/3 x minus 2 when you add 2 to both sides. So now we have it in slope intercept form. Now we have to write it in standard form. And so in order to write it in standard form, we need to bust out these fractions. And so what's the common denominator between 3 and 1 and 1? It's going to be 3. So we multiply everything by 3/1. So we end up with 3y equals -4x minus 6. Okay. We're not done yet because we have to get everything. We have to write it in proper standard form. So we add 4x to both sides. So we end up with 4x plus 3y equals -6. Since the coefficient of x is positive, then we are set. Now, the reason that we go through this process is because now, regardless of what form you're asked for, you can do any of them. If you're asked for slope intercept form, great. You start here, boom, you ended slope intercept form. If you're asked for point slope form, fantastic. You start here, boom, you end at point slope form. If you're asked for standard form, you go through the whole thing, boom, you're done when you hit standard form. Okay, so going through the whole process will help support you with every single form that you're going to need to get. And all we needed from the graph was the slope and a point. All right, let's do one more, and then we'll be done. Okay, here we go. We have another line, same process. So remember, first we get the slope. So here the slope, we need to draw a triangle. So we draw a triangle, so we will go up until we line up with the other point. Up until we line up with the other point, which is right there. And we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So our slope is going to be positive 11 over, now we go to the right until we hit the point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our slope, which is the change in y over the change in x, is 11 over 6. 11 over 6. Okay. Second thing is to write it in point slope form. Well, pick a point. I'm going to pick this point because I like positive numbers. So this point is 1, 2, 3, 4, comma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, comma 8. So now this is my x1, y1. So here we go. So y minus 8, because y minus y1, equals 11 sixths times x minus 4. Okay, so it's written in point slope form. Fantastic. Now the next step, please remember, is to write it in slope intercept form. In order to do that, we need to distribute the 11 sixths. So we've got y minus 8 equals 11 sixths x minus, well, 44 sixths would be the same, when you reduce it, is 22 thirds. Now we need to add 8 to both sides. And when you add 8, we can do some side work over here. 8 over 1, we need to get a common denominator of 3. So you multiply by 3 over 3. So that's going to give you 24 thirds. So we're really adding 24 thirds. So we get y equals negative, it's not negative. Y equals 11 sixths x. Now you take a minus 22 thirds plus 24 thirds. You're really adding 2 thirds. And now you have your slope intercept form. Okay, the final step is to get standard form. Final step is to get standard form. So in order to get standard form, first thing we need to do is bust out these fractions. So we're going to take these and bust out the fractions. What's the common denominator between 3 and 6 and 1? That's going to be 6 over 1. So we have 6y equals 11x plus 4, because 12 thirds is 4. All right, we're almost there. We got to get it in standard form, which means that both variable terms need to be on the same side. So we subtract 11x from both sides. So you get negative 11x plus 6y equals 4. Can't have that be a negative, so we got to multiply everything by negative 1. So 11x minus 6y is going to be equal to negative 4. Now this is in proper standard form. So whatever they ask for, whatever the problem that you're working with asks for, you can either stop at any point or go all the way until you get to standard form. And so this process is going to help you figure everything out. And also you can see how they interrelate. which is kind of cool. All right. So again, like and subscribe. Have a wonderful week. Please make sure you get all your work done.